Today, I have a 1995 Toyota TownAce with the Skylites. This thing is four-wheel drive and absolutely amazing.
The TownAce was first produced in 1976 as the premium model to the Toyota TownAce. The truck and cargo vans are popular for commercial use, while the passenger models are known to be compact, reliable, and family-friendly. TownAces are still being manufactured today in Indonesia under Astra Daihatsu Motors.
This TownAce is part of the second generation, which ran from 1982 up until 1999. This one reflects the TownAce's big minor change, which occurred in 1992. I prefer the pre-changed boxier design. It's a little more retro and cool for me, but these ones are better to own as they have improved engines, improved reliability, and are easier to source parts.
This one is 4.4 meters long and 1.7 meters wide, which is shorter and more narrow than the Honda Civic. However, it stands at nearly 2 meters, which is taller than the current Land Cruiser, making possible compact camper conversions like this one.
I want to start with the side to show you the lovable shape of this van. Some people call it a spaceship. I consider it more of a trapezoid.
I admit that if you pop up the skylights at nighttime, it does look out of this world.
This one has striped decals on both sides, but they're kind of torn, so I had them removed and painted over. I've actually found that the Mitsubishi decals fare better than the Toyotas. This trim is called Gracious Comfort Toning Silver. I like this color a lot, but you have to take care of it in order to make sure it stays looking nice. Moving down low, this van is part-time four-wheel drive, where the wheels are engaged manually.
To do so, you turn the locking hubs on both sides of the van from free to lock. Then, you press the four-wheel drive button. An icon appears in the dash, although this occurs even if the hubs are not engaged.
The obvious drawback is that you have to get outside each time you switch from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive, and vice versa. Coming to the front, this one is fitted with a factory option grille guard. It really transforms the look of this TownAce into the off-roader that it is. The angles up front are indicative of the shape in general, in that straight but curvy, just towing the line between the 80s and 90s. It's this design that makes the TownAce so adorable. Coming to the back, you have a continuation of that trapezoid shape, which gives it a slightly bloated look. Aside from that, just a functional rear gate.
Underneath the passenger seat is Toyota's 3CT engine. It's a straight 4 diesel turbo that puts out 90 horsepower found in late model TownAces.
I have read rumors online that this engine does have issues, but me personally, I haven't had any problems whatsoever. Jumping inside, the first thing you notice are these skylights. The first two rows pop up manually. And once they are open, it really gives you this sense of freedom and adventure.
All skylights have individual covers that open and close manually. The front 4 skylights can be unscrewed to pop open completely. Be careful in this state, as they won't stay in place unless they are entirely removed, as demonstrated here.
Getting into the driver's seat, you can get pretty comfortable back here. However, I can't help but to feel a little bit crammed. You are quite close to the passenger, and if you lift up the center console, it actually rubs up against the armrests.
The dashboard is a continuation of the straight but rounded design. Nothing overly complicated here about the layout. Next to the gear shift is the high-low transfer-wise lever. Low range should only be used in low-speed harsh terrain conditions. Also near the shift lever is the TEMS button, which stands for Toyota Electronic Modulated Suspension. This mechanism controls the stiffness of the shock absorbers, as indicated in the gauge cluster. You have captain's chairs in the second row, and while you do have enough width, even if you push the seat back as far as possible, it's pretty tight in terms of knee room. What I will do is just kick my feet up. It's actually more comfortable in this third row because you could push the second row forward for that extra knee room. You can also lean back the second row to make yourself a bed. And finally, the third row seats can be flipped up for extra luggage space. Alright, let's go for a drive. By the time we tested the off-road capabilities, it was already getting dark. The TownAce had no issues with the slightly icy hill. As for the driving experience, so the first thing you notice with this particular TownAce is that it has a lot more power because of that 3CT engine.
Yeah, the steering's pretty light, and because it feels quite lightweight, it makes this car feel very versatile. It's kind of like this van is egging you on to accelerate more and take over these curves. I actually have to say that this TownAce is pretty fun to drive. Yeah, and you really shouldn't push the gas too hard in these old cars, but this car just makes you want to go fast. You do feel bumps a little more than you do in the HiAce. I feel that the HiAce is geared a little more towards luxury. And sitting at a stoplight here, I say this diesel engine is quite quiet, especially compared to something like a Star Wagon. I've driven a lot of these vans, and this is arguably the most enjoyable one to drive. Today's shoot went a little longer than anticipated, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this car. And that brings me to my final thoughts of this TownAce. It might not be the biggest or the most exciting, but whatever it lacks in those regards, it more than makes up for in character.
Goodbye, TownAce. Safe travels to America. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe.